Hello Canastota, I'm Sean Passetta, Superintendent of Canastota Central Schools, and this is the weekly video update for Friday, October 30th. I'm happy to report that we had a very positive first week back to everyday in-person instruction this week at Peterborough and Southside Elementary Schools. Our students did a terrific job, and our staff also did an incredible job making everything work. Thanks to everybody involved. In many ways, it was almost like our first day of school all over again, with kids finally getting to interact with their classmates for the first time in some cases. Next up is the return of our Robert Street hybrid students on Monday, November 16th. We'll have more information for you in the coming days regarding the return to everyday classes at Robert Street. As I mentioned last week, we are looking at the schedules in all of our buildings, including the junior senior high. At this point, we do not have the capacity to return to a 5-day per week schedule at the junior senior high. However, we will continue to look at various options regarding the best ways to help our students succeed. One issue that will be clarified next week is the Wednesday schedule for the junior senior high. While again, we can't bring students back, we are looking at some modifications to the Wednesday schedule that will provide some additional benefit to our students. Well, we are excited to be welcoming back our K-6 students to everyday in-school learning. And while we continue with the hybrid schedule at the 7-12 level, we also know that at any time during the coming months, we may have to transition to a remote schedule. Hopefully, any transition to fully remote would be of a short duration, but nevertheless, we need to be prepared. That's why we're sending out clarification to all of our families regarding what exactly the remote schedule would look like for each building, should we need to move to that model on relatively short notice. Again, please be on the lookout for information from your child's school that outlines in detail what a remote schedule would look like. Hopefully, we won't have to use it or use it very often, but if and when we do, this information will allow remote instruction to run as smoothly as possible. For months now, issues surrounding our management of the pandemic have dominated the weekly video update. This week, I'd like to share with you some initiatives that are underway not related to COVID, but that are things that just make sense for us to do under any circumstances. One of those items is something called an instructional audit. It's important to note that this isn't something we're required to do. In fact, it was our choice to initiate this process. The intent is really simple. We're taking a hard look at all of our core practices related to our instructional program, including what we use for curriculum, how we plan for instruction, how we determine what intervention services are appropriate for students, and several other items central to our K-12 instructional program. So what is the purpose of this process? From this undertaking, we'll become more consistent in how we plan and execute lessons. It will become more efficient in tackling our priorities as a K-12 district. The most successful school districts all have something in common. They are consistent in their approach to facilitating learning, and that consistent practice is pervasive across all buildings and grade levels in the district. We are committed to becoming a premier district and using our instructional audit process, a tool that allows us to reflect on our professional practice, will play a key role in getting us to that level. While not necessarily a flashy and exciting topic or announcement, it is important that we do the foundational work necessary to make sure our academic program is as strong as it can possibly be. And I wanted to make sure our school community was aware that our instructional staff is engaged in this important work. Finally, last week I mentioned that I wanted to start previewing some of the exciting opportunities our students would have this year, even as we deal with the pandemic. One of these items is a project that focuses on connecting students to regional business and community organizations. We are currently working with retired Canastota business teacher Liz Garofalo to get this new program underway. After being temporarily derailed by the pandemic beginning last spring, we are now able to move ahead with this exciting project. The initiative will allow students to earn industry-recognized micro-credentials that acknowledges learning in areas that are in demand and of high value to regional employers. So what are micro-credentials? When you hear micro-credentials, just think about breaking up learning into small pieces. In the case of this project, we're working with business and community partners to create credentials that reflect the specific knowledge and skills that particular business businesses value in an employee. There are several benefits to this type of learning. Number one, many of the skills are already being taught in our school. This allows us to make a specific connection to local business and demonstrate how learning that happens in school relates to the outside world. Number two, credentials can be earned quickly because they represent small chunks of learning. That means that students can build confidence and create momentum as they continue to earn credentials. And finally, credentials can be mixed and matched and stacked to create different pathways within various industry clusters. By breaking learning into small chunks and stacking them to meet the interests of the student, we can find the intersection of where student interest and ability connects with needs of the regional economy and the demand for a regional workforce. Students might be able to earn a credential in a short period of time, let's say in a couple of weeks. In and of itself, this credential might have value, but the significant benefit comes when we start stacking and combining credentials into sequences of learning. Every day, our teachers are teaching students skills that match skills valued by our community. This initiative will allow us to connect the dots between school and the business world in a meaningful way. This isn't fluff. This is the most relevant, practical type of learning we can undertake as a learning institution. So while we continue to teach all of the standards through our classes that students are required to learn from the state, we'll then take that additional step of linking that learning to something that is relevant locally and regionally. Now, today I gave you a quick overview, but in the weeks and months to come, we'll be showing you some real examples of what this looks like in action. Again, students will be able to earn credentials during the second semester of this school year. Much more to come on this subject. In the meantime, I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. Stay safe, stay healthy, and go Raiders. But before we go, a quick update about our food service distribution plan from Executive Director of Finance and Operations, Nick Panuccio.
Hello, Canastota. We have an adjustment in our meal delivery due to school being closed on Wednesday, November 11th. We will be delivering on Tuesday, November 10th instead because of school being closed on the 11th. Also, we will not be able to provide a meal for Wednesday the 11th due to the school being closed. So there's going to be one less breakfast and one less lunch in the bag when they are delivered. This is due to the law. We are not able to provide meals for days that schools are not in session. We also have our pickup window open on Tuesday night, November 10th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Robert Street Cafeteria because school is going to be closed on Wednesday the 11th. So we can't have the window open if we're closed. So we'll do that Tuesday night. We will deliver again on Wednesday, November 18th, and stay tuned for meal deliveries and adjustments for the Thanksgiving break. Thank you and have a great day.